Hi, I'm Tom, and in this tutorial for FreeCAD, I will show you how to get from a 3D model of a simple garage to creating a sheet with elevations and some annotations and also hatches and other niceties. So we will learn how to get from 3D model to 2D documentation in this tutorial. If you didn't watch that one, I would recommend you to first watch my tutorial on creating a site plan from this model because I will expect that you have knowledge from that tutorial in this one. If you want to follow along with me, you can download the start file, including other files like symbols that I will use in this tutorial from my Ko-Fi shop. The files are available for download for free. And the important thing to note is that I'm using FreeCAD 1.0. Okay, so let's get to work. I'm at my start file. I will collapse this level and I will hide the license text. And just make sure if you go to Edit and Preferences, in your TechDraw preferences in colors, just make sure that the faces color is not this light gray, but the complete one, complete white. I described why this is important in my tutorial about creating site plan. So for creating the 2D documentation, we will be creating the BIM workbench, but also the TechDraw workbench. And first I will create a new page, so I will switch to TechDraw workbench. And I will create a new page, and it asks me for a template for the title block. You can use either this A2 landscape or landscape ISO, or you can use mine, which I provide in the download. So I will go to FreeCAD BIM Garage tutorial files, plan and elevation files, symbols and patterns, and here I will use the A2 landscape FCB lounge template, and I will hit open, and this opens up the page. And the important thing is that the format is A2, and I will name the page elevation views, and I know I will be using the scale 1 to 50, and let's just type in the sheet number, and these other fields you can fill in yourself. So the page is created and it's using this template. And now let's place elevation views on this page. So we will create those elevation views from the 3D model. So I will switch there. And now I will select what I want to create elevations from. So I don't want to create elevations from the driveway and from the site object. So I will select these and hide them, so only the garage is there. And I will select all of the objects of the garage, so I will hit Shift B, the box select, and I will drag around the garage and release here, so the whole garage is selected. And now from the TechDraw workbench, I will use the TechDraw view tool. So I will click it, and it automatically creates a view on the only page that I have there. And I need to set up this view because now I see nothing. So first things first, I set the view here. I need to change the scale, so I will change to custom scale, and I will change the scale to 1 to 50. And if I click here, it should automatically update the view. Sometimes it takes a while. So now the view it's the right scale. But here on the upper left side, I want to have the north elevation, which is the opposite of the south elevation. So how do I change that? I can rotate the model by using these arrows. So if I click rotate right, I've got view from this side, and if I rotate right again, I've got view from the north. Let's wait till the view updates, and this is nice, and I can drag the view here. Now the advantage of TechDraw views is that I can create this view, but I can also enable other views which are perpendicular or isometric to this one. So if I, these are the secondary projections. So if I click here, there's another view here. If I click here, there's another view here. And if I click here, there's the fourth view here. Now it seems that I could use all of them and place them on my page, but if I hit OK, I would say OK, and they would be placed here. Actually, if I move this view, I cannot move it up or down. I can move it only left and right. So I have to make two doubles of views, so these two and then these two, unfortunately. So I will again, you can see that this is projection group and there are 4 projections. So I will double click the projection group, and after I double clicked it, it opens up again the projection view settings. So I will remove this one, this view, and this view. And what's important is this auto distribute check and the distances between X and Y spacing. This can be sometimes confusing because if I hit OK, and now I wanted to space out those views a little bit, so I moved this view like this. Now this seems fine, but if I would use the redraw page, or if I would load the file again, it would place this left view to the original position. So I will again double click the projection view, and I will set the X, and if I don't want it to have updated automatically, I would uncheck this auto distribute, but actually I will use it, and I will just change the X spacing to, let's say, 40, and let's hit apply. So it's applied. It's still too little, so I will type in 60 and hit apply, and yep, let's make it 100. I think that will be just fine for us. Yep. So this is the north view and this other view. So now I will go back to my 3D view and create again box select, Shift B, drag around these objects, create insert view, place it here, and I will change the scale to 1:50, and I will use, I knew that I will use again this one, and X spacing will be 100. And now I moved too fast, I think. So let's just uncheck. Let's change the scale. Yep, I moved too fast, I think. So now I will change the scale to 1:50. Select the left view to, the distance is set to 100, so I will hit OK. And now if I drag and drop, okay, now it updated the scale. It's actually snapping. It's snapping to these views too, so I'll place them like this. So we've got the basic 4 views done, and now we will create these annotation northeast, southwest. So to create those annotations, we will use the annotation tool. So I will click it. It creates this annotation object. If I double click it, it opens up the text editor, and I will type in north elevation, hit OK, drag it here, and I want to change the size of the text. So I've got the annotation object selected, and in the data properties I will change the text size to 12. Yeah, let's say 12 is fine. You can change other properties of the annotations here, but this is fine for me. And also we have to be careful to dragging it by the frame. So I want to have this one. This other one will be east elevation, so I want to copy this one. So I will hit Control C and then Control V. But then you have to be careful. This annotation, as I placed it with Control V, is outside of the page. So I will drag and drop it onto the page. Now it's on the page. And if I drag this this text, it snaps to the same level as the first one is. So if I move it like this, it should be placed. And I'm not sure if this was, yeah, this was east. East elevation. And I will again Control C, Control V. I have to drag and drop it onto the page, and this one is west. Elevation, oops, there's a typo, so let me fix it by double clicking on the text and snap it like this, and then Control C, Control V again, drag and drop it onto the page, and yep, and then move it up here, and this is the south elevation. So this is working with annotations inside of the TechDraw view. So now let's take a look at those elevations without those vertices, and we will want to refine them. First things first, I want to not have the slab visible there, because I want to have just this thick line as the floor, as the plot of land. The slab floor should not be there. So I originally selected this object to be part of the view, but now I want to remove it. How will I do that? I will do that by selecting the view, and here in the data properties, down here, I've got the source objects. These are basically the objects that are on the view, and I can add or remove objects from or onto the view. To add or remove objects, I will click here and click these three dots, and this opens up the list of objects which are on the view, and those are highlighted in blue here. So if I want to, I will drag the view up here, and I will want to remove the slab floor here, so I will just click it and hit OK. But you can see that nothing changes. This is because the slab is part of the level 1 object and the garage object, and these two are placed on the view too, so we need to remove these two objects as well. So I will click here again, and I will remove the garage object and also the level object, and I will hit OK, and it's still visible here because I have to redraw the view. Now hopefully the slab should not be there. You can see that it was taken away. So I will have to do the same for these other views. So I will select this one and remove the garage, slab, and level. Hit OK. Select this one and remove the same, the garage, slab, and level. Okay, and I'll also do the same with this one, garage, slab, and level. Hit OK, and now I will redraw the page. Every time you see something suspicious, just try to redraw the page because sometimes it doesn't automatically update. So let's take a look at the elevations now. They look much better, but I've got this line here and I don't know what that is. What that basically is if I look at this side, this door has this 2D symbol there and it's displayed here. So how can we get rid of this? We could actually not use it here in the 3D view, but in other views I will want to have this opening symbol there. So what I will do is I will show you how to change the color of these objects, and I will change the color of this object, or actually I will not change the color of this line. I will make this line invisible. And I can do that by selecting this line. Just make sure I've got it selected. For me, it's green. And I will use this change appearance of lines. This tool enables changing the appearance of existing lines. So I will select it. I will start it. I had this line selected and I will change it from, I can change the color, the line weight, the line style, but I will change the visible from true to false, hit OK. Now you can see it's not visible. I will do the same with this line too. So select this line, start the change appearance of lines and set it to false, hit OK. So these are solved. Now I could also change the appearance of this line to make it thick, but I want to have that line also extended on both sides, and I cannot change the length of the existing edge. So how will we achieve having these thick lines here which represent the ground? We will actually create something which is called a cosmetic line. It's this tool. And first I will show you how to create cosmetic lines somewhere else. To create cosmetic lines, you have to pick two vertices. So I will select this one and with control this one. Now if I start the cosmetic line tool, it's started and the points are selected, and I will hit OK. And now the cosmetic line is created here. You could see it. I will also name the I will also do to name the elevation. I will change them to north and then east and then south. This one will be west, just to make it clear which one is which. So back to the cosmetic line is this one, and I can change the properties of the line, the cosmetic line, the same way as these original lines, and I can also make it longer or shorter. To make it longer or shorter, I will be using this extend line and shorten line tool. If it's a very simple tool. I just select the cosmetic line. It works only with cosmetic lines. And I click the extend line. It seems that nothing is happening. I will select it again and click extend line again. This is because this extend line is originally created for mechanical engineering, so for small dimensions. So we have to extend the increment by which it is made longer. And we set up the extend step by setting up in this tool the select line attributes, and here you can set the attributes, the default attributes of the cosmetic line, and here is the delta distance. So I want to max it out, and I'm not sure. Yeah, let's max it out to 99. And now let's hit OK. Now if I select this cosmetic line and use the extend tool and hit it again and again, I don't have to select the line all the time. Every time I click it, it's extended. I would like to see the delta to be bigger, but this is fine enough. I could also shorten the line by using the shorten tool, and it's then being shorter. So this is how we will create these lines which represent the ground. So I will select and delete this cosmetic line, and I will create a new cosmetic line from this vertex to this vertex. So I will select this one, click with Control on this one. These two are selected, and I will create a new cosmetic line and hit OK. I've got those 2 points selected, and now I will select the line and extend it a few more times. And now it's like this. Let's say this is fine for me. So the length is okay. We want to change the style, so I will select it and change the appearance of lines. And style will be visible. Yep. Color black, and weight, I think let's make the weight 5. Oh, that's too much. 3. Yeah, let's make it 2 or 2.5 and hit OK. So now if I remove the vertices, the line looks like this, which is nice. So I will have to do the same for this here. So again, select this vertex, create a cosmetic line, hit OK, select the line and change the weight to 2.5 and make it visible, and then select the line and extend it a little bit. Okay, and here again, one vertex, second vertex, cosmetic line. Okay, change the properties to 2.5 and visible. Okay, and now extend it. Okay, nice. And now the last one, let's make it here. I didn't select the second verse, so the first one, and with Control the second one, create the line. And now let's change the appearance. I don't have it selected, so change the appearance to visible 2.5, and let's also extend the line like so. Okay, so now the lines look like this, which is exactly what we wanted. Now if I take a look at my desired outcome, what I'm still missing here is this door opening symbol in the elevation. And how will we do this? Instead of creating lines here in the elevations, I will go to my 3D model and select the door object. And because it's the default FreeCAD door, it has got in its data properties, it has got the options to show or hide symbol elevation in plan. That's this one. And also symbol in plan, and also symbol in elevation. So if I change that to true and click in the space, you can see it's this line. And if I go back to my page, the lines are already there. I will just want to make them dashed. So I will select both of them. I will click on this one and Control click on this one. Both of them are selected. And I will change the appearance of lines, and I will change the style from visible to not center, but yep, hidden, and okay. So this is nice, another step. What we will want to create now are these elevation marks. And to create elevation marks like these in TechDraw Workbench, it's not really suited for that, but we can insert the TechDraw symbols, which are based basically on an SVG files. So I went ahead and created an SVG object in Inkscape, and it's basically file an SVG simple SVG file like this. In one of my future tutorials, I will show you how to create elevation symbol like this, but in this tutorial we will just use it, and it's part of the start package that you can download from my Ko-Fi shop. So to insert an SVG symbol, first let's make sure that I've got nothing selected, and I will click this insert view again, and if I don't have anything selected, FreeCAD knows that I want to insert an SVG image or a file. So now it warns me, you can check this, that you don't want to show this message again. I will hit OK, and I'm in my templates folder, and I have to search the file that I'm providing you. So I've got them in documents, plan and elevation files, symbols and patterns, and it's the elevation symbol upright CZ, and I will open it, and it's this symbol. Now to move it, you can also see that it's placed as an object on the TechDraw page, and to move it I will show frames, and now I will drag the symbol. I can zoom in, and I cannot really snap to any objects, so I have to just wing it. It's not really precise, but this is currently the limitation of the TechDraw Workbench in FreeCAD 1.0. So the symbol is here, and here this one actually is the height 0, and to insert a new symbol, I could again deselect all and use the insert view tool, or I can actually select this one, hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then again, as previously with the text, I have to drag and drop it onto the page, and now I can move it up to where the roof ends. And then I will Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then drag and drop it onto the page, and drag, and you can see that it's snapping to the other symbols, but I will place it here. So these are my 3 symbols, but for these I want to change the height. And to measure the height, I will click this, I will create a dimension, just temporary one, and click here, select these 2 vertices, and if I create the dimension as I taught you in my previous tutorial like this, it's actually creating the dimension, this one, which I don't want. I want the vertical one, so I will delete this one and select this vertex, and instead of insert dimension I will use insert vertical dimension or shortcut Shift V, and this one is placing in vertical dimension. It's measuring in millimeters because that's my default unit. And to change the number, I will select the symbol, and it's set up that the editable texts are here, so I can either change the text here, or I will click these 3 dots, and it opens up the text editor, and it should be 2.940. Okay, so the text has changed, and I will delete this dimension and select these 2 vertices. Oops, not the bubble, but vertical dimension. And this top one, again, I will change the editable text, and it should be 4.141. dimension, okay, and delete the dimension again. As you can see, this is quite tedious and not really a correct BIM workflow, but it's the best that we can have with the TechDraw workbench right now. And again, don't be worried about these frames. It will be printed out like this. So again, I can copy this one, Control C, Control V, place the symbol on a page and drag and drop it here. And I remember that the size of this door is actually 2.2 meters, so I will just type in it like this. And I could actually copy these three. Yep, Control C, Control V. They were copied, all of three of them. I will move them here, and let's make 654, and let's move them at 654. Let's move them at once. Hopefully I will grab it correctly. So, and then I will also create the same way the symbols for this window, like these. So these are elevation marks. Hopefully in the future we will have tool in the TechDraw workbench to create elevation marks which would snap to existing geometry, and maybe also insert the correct height. Okay, so now let's create these hatches which symbolize the glass in window, and for that I will select the face and use the hatch tool which I introduced in my previous tutorial. I'm using the SVG hatches, and I will actually use the, I think is it the glass one? And let's make it 3, or yep, let's make it 5 the scale. Yep, so it's the glass one, hit OK. And also this one, select the face. Unfortunately, FreeCAD doesn't remember the last used settings, so I have to, in each view, I have to change them like this. But if the hatch is in one view, I can select multiple faces with Control and select the hatch pattern, and it will create the hatch pattern in both of those faces that I selected. Now let's also create the hatch patterns for the doors. So this should be something like wood. So the default one is, was it the wood grain? Let's change the scale to 5 or 3. Yep. And let's see a bit of a problem in FreeCAD 1.0. I will set the rotation to 90. I will rotate it by 90 degrees, which seems more natural, so that the wood grain goes like this. But we will see once we will print it out the problem. So this is these hatches, and now we will create hatch for the roof tiles. But the default SVG hatches don't offer anything similar to this. So I went ahead and actually created a simple PNG file or raster file, which looks like this. And we will use this one as a hatch in our FreeCAD project. So to create a hatch out of a bitmap file, I will select the face and use the same tool, the hatch tool, but instead of SVG file, we can also load the PNG file. So I will click here, and instead of the patterns folder, I will go to the folder with my starter files, which is FreeCAD BIM garage tutorial files, plan and elevation files, symbols and patterns. And actually I have to change from SVG to bitmap files, and I will choose roof tile map PNG, hit open, and you can see that it's visible. I'm not sure if it's possible to change the scale. No, with the PNG files or other bitmaps, you actually cannot change any of these properties. But anyway, this file fits good enough. So I will also select this face, start the hatch tool, go to and select the garage tutorials, plan and elevation, symbols and patterns, switch to bitmap, and use the roof tile map. So this is all the tasks that we needed to do, and now to export this file to a printer or PDF, we could go to File and Print or Export PDF, or what I prefer is to right click on the page and select Export PDF, and I will actually save it to the Documents folder, name it Tutorial, and now it's exported. And if I switch to my Documents folder and open the PDF, this is the one that we created. You can see that the hatches are there, the elevation symbols are there, these lines are nice, the views look great. The only thing that's problematic, you can see this wood grain has this direction, whereas in FreeCAD it had this direction. This is a limitation of FreeCAD 1.0 that currently doesn't export to PDF the rotation of the SVG textures, but I think already in FreeCAD 1.1 this will be fixed. So this is the end of the tutorial on how to create elevation views from a BIM model. We learned how to set up elevation views, how to create hatches, how to create elevation symbols, how to annotate the page, and how to work with the sheet. I will be following this series on the garage by creating a tutorial on how to create a floor plan and a section, but I will create these tutorials once FreeCAD 1.1 is released, because there are some slick upgrades to creating these floor plans using the draft method that I described in one of my previous videos. It's possible in FreeCAD 1.0, but it will be much more slick in FreeCAD 1.1. And just as a reminder, you can download the start file also with the support file, like the symbols, SVG symbols, etc. from my Ko-Fi shop for free. If you like using FreeCAD, consider supporting the project by donating to it. The link to the donate page is in the description box below. I hope this was useful, and I will see you in the next one.